Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Let's get started. An Idaho family is speaking out against Clearwater County deputies who shot and killed their son. 48-year-old Mike Treppett was in crisis, holding a knife and threatening to harm himself. He was shot 15 times. His family wants those deputies to face criminal charges. New at 10 tonight, Kyle Simchuk is looking into the investigation and what the Treppett family is demanding. Kyle?
Well, the Clearwater County Sheriff's Office says Treppett was drunk and being aggressive. His family says he struggled with bipolar disorder and was only a threat to himself. They believe this situation could have ended peacefully. Mike Treppett was his parents' primary caregiver. He was passionate about helping the elderly and hospice patients.
He often held their hands so they wouldn't die alone.
Mike struggled with depression and bipolar disorder. He recently started drinking more after his dog died. In the early morning hours of January 31st, he grabbed a knife in his parents' kitchen.
His mother called police because she was afraid that Mike would harm himself. He has never had a history of aggression towards others, only to himself.
Clearwater County deputies were dispatched to their Orofino home. They found Mike outside, still holding the knife.
And then he said, "Mike, drop your knife." And then he said, "Mike, I don't want to have to do this."
Deputies told Mike's mom, Jackie, to go inside and shut the door.
And immediately upon shutting the door, they shot and killed Mike. 15 shots, 10 from one officer, 5 from the other.
And I started to go out because I wanted to hold him. And he said, "Don't come out here, you don't want to see this."
Attorney Stephen Stubbs says deputies altered the shooting scene by moving patrol cars before investigators arrived.
And that's important because use of force is different if there's other things you can do, like hide behind a car.
Mike's parents witnessed the shooting, but say they still have not been interviewed by investigators.
They went over to the neighbor's house and pressured the neighbors to say that Mike was aggressive and that the family was afraid of them. Those are investigators that have come to a conclusion before investigating and are trying to protect their officers.
The 2 deputies involved have been placed on administrative leave. Mike's family wants them charged in his death.
He left a huge void in our lives, and he didn't deserve to lose his life this way.
The Clearwater County Sheriff's Office did not respond to our request for comment. The Lewiston Police Department is investigating the shooting and told us they are unable to comment. Those deputies involved were wearing body cameras. Mike's family and their attorney believe those videos will prove this shooting was not justified. In the newsroom, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Kyle, thank you very much. New tonight, a man was sentenced to more than 5 years in prison after assaulting a woman, stealing her car, and being in possession of a bomb. In 2019, Timothy Richard Ray Riggins was arrested by Moses Lake police when they found him hiding in a washing machine. During their search, they found a fanny pack with a large firework with 20 nails taped to the outside of it. Riggins is a member of a criminal street gang and already had an active felony warrant, according to police. Following his 5.5 years in prison, he'll be under federal supervision for an additional 3 years. Happening tomorrow, Governor Jay Inslee is holding a press conference to discuss the next phase of Washington's COVID response. He'll be joined by Washington Superintendent of Public Instruction Chris Rakedahl, Washington State Department of Health Secretary Umar Shah, and Deputy Secretary of COVID Response Lacey Fehrenbach. Watch KREM 2 News for coverage of the press conference on KREM.com. The Richland School Board voted to remove its mask mandate last night, effective immediately, although they didn't have school today. During a special meeting, members voted 3-2 to make masks optional in district schools and facilities. Now all Richland schools have been temporarily closed while the district figures out its plan forward. That vote follows one by the Kettle Falls School Board Monday night. Yesterday, Kettle Falls superintendent and staff had the choice to walk into their schools without a mask. The state superintendent says Kettle Falls has 20 days now to comply with the state masking laws, or the state will withhold school funding. Coming up in about 5 minutes, we'll share more on why dozens of more Eastern Washington school districts want to end the mask mandate in schools. Happening tonight, local high school students came together to share their artistic perspectives on the Black experience in Spokane. 6 Black high school students had their pieces published in the Spokesman Review and were invited to share their stories at a symposium. In addition to that, Spokane native turned Hollywood producer Mandy Price was a guest speaker taking part in a discussion on the importance of representation with Spokane NAACP chapter president Keonta Duncan. All right, now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Deputies have released the name of the man who was shot and killed earlier this month in Spokane Valley. 34-year-old Joseph B. Quinn died after witnesses reported yelling or arguing, followed by gunshots near East Montgomery Avenue last Sunday. 10 days later, and police still have not identified a suspect. Witnesses told police they saw a person leave the scene after hearing gunshots in that area. Investigators are asking if you have any information about Quinn's activities before the shooting to please contact them at the number right there at the bottom of your screen. Firefighters were called to an intense garage fire on South Regal. Check out those flames right there. That fire, which started in the garage, is completely destroyed. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The cause of the fire still under investigation at this hour.
I think it'll make a lot of sense to drivers. The green paint will make it quite clear what's going on. There'll still be plenty of space for the vehicles. There'll still be parking. And it just kind of allocates everybody their own space, so it's almost more predictable.
A 9-block section of Riverside Avenue is about to get a major facelift aimed at improving safety for cyclists. The city of Spokane is moving forward with plans to add protected bike lanes on the downtown street from Monroe to Division. According to city construction plans, the 4 lanes on Riverside will be reduced to 3, and that will make space for the bike lanes on both sides of the street. Construction on Riverside is expected to start coming up later this spring. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. All right, let's talk weather now. Our spring-like sunshine today continued today, but how long will it last? For the answer, let's get straight outside to meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Thomas, are we going to have more sunshine tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely looking like more sunshine tomorrow. This whole week, pretty nice, but consistent weather pattern for us. As of right now, clear skies and a very bright full moon in the sky for tonight. So there's that clearing in the cloud cover. The rest of it just sliding off to the east. We are on the warm side of the jet stream as it stands right now on the ridge side, and definitely dealing with some clearer conditions than a lot of states out east. A large weather system starting to take shape for our friends out east. There's going to be heavy rain, heavy snow, and even severe weather for tomorrow for some southern states. But for us, sunshine definitely to start the day right at sunrise. Another mild one. Should be the 12th day in a row in the 40s, but the colder weather is going to make a return late on in our extended forecast. More on how low those temperatures will be next week in just a few minutes.
Sounds good, Thomas. Thank you very much. At least 44 flights near SeaTac Airport have been hit with lasers over the past 10 days. The FAA says 12 of those laser strikes happened overnight. The Port of Seattle and the FAA are asking for the public's help finding those responsible. So if you see someone pointing a laser at a plane, you are urged to call 911. Staying in King County tonight, that county will no longer require businesses to check patrons' COVID-19 vaccination status starting March 1st as case rates and hospitalizations continue to drop. However, King County officials say businesses and organizations will still be able to require their own vaccination requirement if they choose to do so. Well, it is masks off now at Disney. The most magical place on earth is dropping its mask mandate for vaccinated guests. The change effective starting tomorrow. Disney World says guests will still be required to wear masks on enclosed transportation like buses and the monorails. Disneyland also plans to drop its mask mandate for vaccinated guests. On the European front, the crisis in Ukraine keeps growing as the U.S. continues to warn that a Russian invasion could happen at any time. The Biden administration says Russian media is pushing misinformation, including false reports of genocide and mass graves in Ukraine. U.S. officials also assess that Russian hackers have likely targeted the Ukraine government, including military and critical infrastructure networks, to collect intelligence, they said. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. Tonight, several Eastern Washington superintendents sent a letter to the governor urging him to end the mask mandate in schools. We'll share what else was in that letter. Plus, also ahead, an update to a KREM 2 investigation into the Spokane shock. We are back in just 90 seconds.